Hello and welcome to. We're going to take a look through the Miniland USA in the heart of the resort of California. So we're at LEGOLAND California and we're about to take a look around these incredible, huge scale LEGO models. Now the water around the outside is all to do with the different rides. You can actually get on a boat and it has a tour and it takes you all the way around the outside and you see even bigger models. That video will be coming or already uploaded depending on when you're watching this one. So this is very much going to be a case of say what you see, because this video is 32 minutes long, so you're going to be stuck with me for the next half an hour. Normally I go completely quiet so you can listen to all the sound effects and the music in the background, but because it was Christmas, they were playing really nice Christmas music all the way around the park, which was lovely, but then at the same time you can't listen to it because of copyright reasons. So it is what it is. You're going to be stuck with my voice. Now there is a little bit more footage that I need to add on at the end of this video, which I'm yet to actually see to make sure that it is okay, which is a load of dinosaurs attacking what I do believe is New York. Now I did see this on their Instagram post months ago. I didn't even realize it was still there, so I'm very, very happy that I saw that, because it is a fantastic display. Now I am watching this back for the very first time and it is bringing back lots of memories already. Luckily, when I came to this part of the Miniland, there was literally nobody here bar one other person, so I had a really, really nice slow loop around, and I think we just do the full thing all the way around. And we also go to where the Star Wars section used to be, which I found out from the members of staff. So we'll be having a look at that as well, and how they've replaced, I do believe, what used to be a massive Death Star with a big alien instead. But we'll get to that bit and then I'll explain a little bit more with regards to that. But you can see we have lots and lots of different bits and pieces. Now there is also a brand new section within this Miniland that I think opened up in either 21 or 22. Now it is on the park map. There is a brand new Miniland section. It's a big area as well. So if you know what used to be there beforehand, or you've seen what used to be there beforehand, then obviously please do let me know in the comment section. And I did not get any video footage of this lit up at night, just because it was just a little bit too bright when I did the loop again for this, but it looked incredible all lit up. So you can see you have got all of the different museums, you've got all the different bits and pieces. There might be things that you recognize from America, whereas myself, lots of these bits and pieces I've never seen in person, but it is very, very nice just to see everything as we're going. And yes, the buildings are enormous, but unlike Dubai, they do have lots and lots of detail at the bottom as well, which is really, really nice to see. Now, I am using a camera that you can't zoom in on, but I did refilm this section specifically because you can see Santa up at the top, and then all of a sudden you can see the boat in the background where they're doing that tour. You can then suddenly find, after the Chrysler building, all sorts of different bits and pieces with regards to the fun facts and the dinosaurs as well. So you can see the reindeer on its back legs. You can see they've added in a little bit of detail with regards to all of the Christmas decorative pieces, which is always really, really nice to see. And then out of nowhere, you've got a T-Rex smashing up a building. There it is. So there's the first of the dinos. And there's a lot more dinosaurs by the water in the background, which I did not think this camera would pick up. So like I said, I came back with a different camera, and we will have a much better look at this towards the end of the video. But if you have managed to see this display, then again, please do let me know what this is all about. Now, the dinosaur section with regards to the safari area, I do believe have just closed down. So I don't know if some of these models have been taken from there, they've been put into here. But what I do really like, is how they are just destroying all of the buildings. So it is like a full attack on New York, and this, all the animatronics for the trains and everything were working, all of their underground system is working, so you can see that is moving away. And they do have all of the really nice scaled figures. You can see you've got the Lego, and they've also got toilet paper as well, so I know an individual that would like that after the Christmas gift that they've just been given. And then up you have got the Hallmark channel, so that is obviously an Easter egg to what I do believe is their Hallmark Christmas bits and pieces, unless they are sponsored by Hallmark as well, because over at Legoland Windsor they have more made up ones, so some of these might be the same. But you've got Times Square 2024, you've got the Coke symbol, so obviously they must be sponsored by actual bits and pieces. And then it did say Happy New Year above that. Then you've got 54G something way, and then you've got something like Smile. So like I said, I do go a lot slower, so we'll have a much better look at this. But the size of these things are massive, and the weather was perfect just to walk around. So like I said, we get to see absolutely everything. The difference to this one compared to all of the others is huge. So every single Miniland that I've been to now, let's tick them off as we go. So Legoland Windsor has a bit of everything. This is obviously Miniland USA, so it's all to do with the different USA states. Dubai is just Dubai. Billund is all of Denmark. Germany, I think, is all of Germany, which makes sense. So I've been to those 5, and I think there might be one more that I can't quite remember off the top of my head. So I am glad that I've managed to do all of these, and I will be going to some more much further afield. I am very, very excited to share some new news with you for 2024. As soon as the tickets have been booked, there will be a post going up, but I am very much looking forward to getting away for that, for what potentially might be another 2 Miniland and Legoland tours. But little theme park, little area. So that was the only place I do believe I had to wait and walk past somebody. So you got the San Diego Fun Fair. So it said the fun fact used over 100,000 Lego parts, and the Yellow Moon was over 30 pounds in weight. So you can see there's all sorts of different bits and pieces. Now the green thing is a little bit of an Easter egg, I do believe, to one of the oldest theme sets that used to be out. So I do recognise that. So that was an old space set. Late 80s, early 90s, I do believe. And then you've got just much larger stadiums. So you have got, I think that's a horse track that did work, the animatronics did work, and then you've got lots of these buildings dotted around all over the place as well. And again, the nice thing about this is they have tall structures everywhere with smaller structures, and there's a lot to look at and a lot of detail absolutely everywhere as well. With regards to all the buses, you've got the trains, you've got all of the characters and everything like that. So there is a lot to soak in and a lot to take in. I would need a second day here just to film this Miniland properly, like I normally do at the other parks, because I went around the whole park this time, filmed everything. And by the time I got to the very, very last zone, the park was closing because they didn't have the longest opening hours when I was there, because the kids were still at school. But I was lucky enough to get everything done. But I would like to have filmed this in much, much greater detail, zoom in on all the different details. Again, playing all the games where you're trying to find all the Santa on the roof, because obviously there would be multiple tick lists for all of the different Santa Clauses and all the different reindeer. So there would be one of those absolutely everywhere. So I've now spotted 2. I didn't even realise that was a thing until rewatching this back. You can see, again, you've got the massive amount of sort of fire brigades, the police going around, you've got all the cones. Some of it does look like it's been resurfaced as well, so obviously they've done different animatronics and they've redesigned some of the paths and things like that. Other bits and pieces, they had a massive baseball stadium, and I think the new thing that had been recently added in, or been added in over like the last year or 2, is the other football pitch as well. But it took 1,200 hours to build, and is over 1,000, does that say 1,600 colours in that? I think that's what it said. You might have to go back and then correct me in the comments, because I can't stop this as it starts going. So again, all the trains going around, they all look like nice and fresh, and then you have got all sorts of bits. So there's another Santa Claus with another reindeer, and that does look like he's got a little helper on the roof. So that's 3 of them now. So let's play that game as we go around. How many of those can you count? Because I would imagine that there would have been another one in the fun fair section, or in the fun ground section, and I missed out on that one. And again, you've got these really nice, bright, vibrant colours. You've got the green, the orange, the blue above the nice yellow building. But look at the detail in the bridge. And you've got the little park on the ground just there, so you can see that in further afield. And then again, as we're coming through, there is might have been another one on the floor. So like I said, this was just supposed to be a slow walkthrough. And then if I had time, I would have come back and done this much, much better. But you stuck with my voice just because of the Christmas music. But the atmosphere at this park was incredible. So fun fact, over 200 yards of string to create the rigging, took 140 hours to build, and it was 7 foot long. That's just for the boat, mind. So just that boat alone took that amount of time. Now the master model builders are directly behind me. So they're really, really close to this Miniland, whereas I do believe the ones in Windsor have a bit of a trek, because they've got to go all the way from the top of the park and then snake their way all the way down. Whereas this area is perfect for them. So their offices are really, really close, and we will, I think, in this video possibly have a quick look at that as well. But you've got Old Town, that took over 60,000 Lego parts and 600 hours to build. That does again look very, very impressive, and they have got a beautiful mix of water and buildings as well. So like I said, I wish it was a little bit slower, but it is what it is, because the scale of this Miniland is rather large. You can see we've got lots of other areas still to go around. We're not messing around with this one, and we're only 9 minutes in. So you've got lots of chairs, and we are at the Randy Shell, 65,000 bricks, and there are 380 chairs for that. So currently we are at the Miniland San Diego. So one of the states is new, and I cannot remember what one it is. Can I multitask and give it a Google at the same time as me talking to this? So I'm not 100% sure if I can, but we will see. So as we're walking around, you can see we come to the massive water section, and there's lots of other little bits and pieces that you can see all dotted around. And again, the boat tour doesn't come on this bit of the water, but you can see what will be happening later on in a different upload, just where that boat actually goes. So we are in the big docked section, and it does look, again, very, very impressive. You've got all the different canoes, and you've got lots of other detail. Now, further afield is where the Star Wars bit is. Now, I do believe, as I've clicked on it now, I'm on their Legoland website as we're doing this, so I'm doing live thing. I do believe Miniland San Diego, it says the world's first Lego city of San Diego is found in Miniland USA, featuring the best landmarks, iconic structures created in Lego form from a team of 70 builders, used more than 5 million Lego bricks to construct a realistic 30-foot beach, street lines with 120 palm trees and 55 San Diego landmarks of our miniature city. So that is what is new. So that all of that is new in that area. So the San Diego is the new bit, because we have got San Diego, Las Vegas to have a look at, Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, Washington DC. So that's all the different areas that are within this, and then you've got the SoFi Stadium as well. So all of that is in their Miniland, and like I said, they have just added in their new area, and it's a big area, which is the San Diego. So I did wonder why that did look so clean. I thought it was just a smaller area, and that area was absolutely massive. So that's where the lovely bridge was, and all those taller buildings. So that is very, very impressive to see. Billund did something like that recently. They added in a whole new area, and I do believe Legoland Malaysia are in the process of updating all of their Miniland area as well, and I am very intrigued to see what New York looks like. But you can see we're in Southern California at the moment. It is quite nice walking around and reading the different bits and pieces, especially when you're not a local or have any idea what's going on. Then you've got the NFL films, and then this is what I thought that just the new area was, just here, to be honest, because you can see that it's got all of the new ground, all of the different animatronics. This all looks brand new as well, but this might have been added in the year before, and it's not yet just got weathered. But you can see all of the nice helicopters that are moving about. I do believe there's a boom box in the back of that green car that moves up and down. So there you can see the blue one, something comes shooting out of that one, then shooting back in, and then there's a boom box in the back of the green one as well. So there's something going on with that, which we'll be taking a look at in a little bit, because I'm sure I wait for something to happen. While we're doing that, look at all the detail that is in the back of this stadium. So you've got all the steps that zigzag all the way through. There it is. So that's the car jumping up and down. That's what we're waiting for. So that you can see there's some massive sound system in the back of that one. But again, I've had to turn it down just because of the music. And then as we come through, we are coming into this incredible detail building. So you can see all of the different bits and pieces. They put this plexiglass in front of it, which is a little bit of a shame, but you understand why. Over 3,000 Minilanders on the inside, 30 foot long. This thing is absolutely massive. And I do believe, I was about to say, I do believe it all moves around. So the animatronics and everything work well on that. I'm glad you're not getting the reflection too much, but you can see just above the plexiglass just the detail of what that thing looks like. And I massively appreciate just how hard people took and worked to put this together. Because like I said, I saw this on their Instagram page of actually them putting it in the other year, and this is what I thought they're advertising for their new section. But it does seem to be that every couple of years they must update a different area. So if you can let us know in the comment section below, what is the newest area of your own local Legoland park to be updated? Because as we've just read, there was tens of thousands of bricks with a huge team and army putting in that new area. So that did look very, very impressive, and I do massively appreciate that, because it was beautiful to see. So I did go around again without the camera, because I wanted to soak all of this in, because it just keeps going and going. You've got the gorgeous detail of the water, and obviously and you've got Randy's Donuts. Now there was a little bit of an Easter egg with Randy Donuts, because you can see the car doing donuts out the front, and I do believe that is a tribute to Ken Block. That is his Hoonigan car in the background, and obviously he sadly did pass away in 2023, which is the year of this being filmed. And then you've got just detail again everywhere. So you've got all the palm trees, you've got all the roads, again, you've got that huge amount of seats in front of their little stadium. But again, if you look, they have added in little Christmas decorations everywhere because they've got all the wreaths and everything dotted on all of the buildings. So if it's a church, if it's a front door, they have added in a lot of detail for that kind of thing. And you can see we're at the Chinese Theatre. So that was developed in 1927, I do believe that said. And then you've got the Lego wood sign behind. So that is their own take on obviously the Hollywood sign. And then as we carry on panning around, we come into a rather steep hill. Now this did look, again, very, very impressive. Now this did look familiar from a couple of films, but again, I'm not going to even attempt to butcher what films I thought it was, because it probably isn't right anyway. But you can see you have got a lot of fire brigade within this one. You've got ladders dotted up the side of the buildings. And then I think that might have been Santa again in the bottom left-hand corner. He seems to be getting absolutely everywhere. And then again, if you're looking at all the festive Christmas decorations, there we go, dotted at the front of the building. So we're in Chinatown, and you can see you've got the travellers there, and then just to the right hand side, there it is up at the top. Oh, that's what they're doing. They are rescuing the reindeer because the Santa's sled is falling down the building, and then you can see what they're trying to catch on the bottom. That is very, very clever. So again, I'm spotting new bits and pieces because I do have to walk through the Miniland first time round and look through the viewfinder so I know where the camera's pointing, and then the second time round I will miss some bits and pieces. So watching this back again, I'm actually spotting a lot of different detail. And you've got the rainbow in the far distance. I think that says Legoland Removals, I think, or Miniland. Legoland Miniland, there we go. I thought it was a removal truck. And then you've got the Victorian homes. But again, small buildings, steep hills, lots of trucks, vehicles, and sort of different characters. Right in front of or behind, depending on what way you're looking at, these huge skyscrapers as well. So we're in San Francisco. Now I do believe that is The Rock, the film The Rock, that did that, because he had that amazing chase. But I'm sure that's what it is, because he had the Ferrari, didn't he? And he stole that from the hotel as he went shooting around. I'm sure that's what this film is from. That's why I recognise it, because that's what I recognise the steep slopes from. Pier 39. So that's fun fact, it took 1,016 hours for that. I nearly ended up cracking my head on that as I went down, so I starred that one out very, very well. Lots of boats, again, really nice with how sunny it is with just the reflectiveness in the water. And the water is very, very clean as well. So obviously it's not a thing that they would drain all the time, but the fact that it is obviously nice weather there all the time, I would imagine. They must have a good filtration system in there, because it is very, very clean. You can see the bottom when people have thrown in some change just to make some wishes and things like that. And then we have some little bits and pieces in here. Now, sometimes they do this as Easter eggs and Billund for the Halloween bits, where they actually produce the pumpkins. So there might be one or two Christmas presents in here, or Santa might be somewhere around. And then you've got the bridge, and then you've got the water running underneath it. Now, that green truck, it's a shame you can't hear it, because that is a custom truck with a custom Christmas soundtrack that is just driving around. So I was looking around thinking, well, where's this music coming from? And they had those things dotted all over the place, all playing different music. So instead of having a big speaker system up and around, they had that thing there, which did sound spectacular, to be honest. It just gave it a really, really nice atmosphere. Because as it came round, it just sounded like it was blasting music out the windows. And again, with regards to all the construction work that's going on, I think that does look very, very effective. You've got the nice school buses doing the drop-off for the little ones. You've got the farm behind it. Then you've got the massive, massive turbines. So they are a huge thing. So these wind turbines, if I can read it, fun fact, 8,648 bricks. I'm sure it'd be more than that. And I might have said 80,000, to be honest. But we'll say 8. And then you've got the nice little campfire. Then you've got the tent. And then if you can see underneath the trees, you've got a lot of cattle. And I do believe there's some little pigs and chickens walking around there we all go. So there's lots and lots of those to see and soak in. And then we will be panning around to an area that felt like something was missing. And I walked around this area, and I walk and walk and walk, and then I end up cutting it off. Because it feels like there should be stuff all around here. To the left, to the right, up these stairs in front of us. Where I am now is where the Star Wars Miniland used to be. So where they've added in all this shrubbery and the bit that would be in front of us, that was all Star Wars. So this bit in the middle just here was Star Wars, and the bit behind it was Star Wars. And I was thinking to myself, it really feels like it's odd how they've got the chains still there, and you can just imagine that was all full of what it was exactly the same as Legoland Windsor. Their walkthrough attraction was on the inside, this one was just on the outside, and the only thing that they had here was this random castle. So I'm not too sure what that represents, so I don't know if they're going to be adding in some different bits and pieces, or they've just put something on the rock face, because I can't visualize what that rock face would have been for from the Star Wars. But that is where the huge Death Star used to be, and they've just changed it with a random grumpy alien instead, and they've just kept the star backdrop, because you can imagine what that looks like at night. So I did wonder what that was all about. So it did have a huge walkthrough attraction. Now if anybody has any photos of that, I would love to see. Now the model shop, we're just having a quick walk through this before we carry on with the Miniland as well. There's lots and lots of different bits and pieces to look at. Yes, I am in shorts and t-shirt, and yes, it is in December. It was that warm. And then you can see you've got the Statue of Liberty, you've got some superheroes all dotted around. It was really, really good to see. But that is just somebody's working office, so they're in the back repairing everything. You can see you've got a variation of the supersized tumbler up on there, and then you have got all sorts of bits and pieces dotted around. So I think these guys and girls that work in this area do a fantastic job in their Miniland, and also all the custom displays that they do in the shop. You've got all the big pirates, because they did look like they had some new bits and pieces within the pirate. Now that does look interesting, because that is looks like it's another large sort of castle like what we've just seen. You've got the Lego Movie sign, so that would have been potentially a spare sign or an older sign that was from the Lego Movie World section. There it is, it says thank you, and then it's got the year of 2010. So that was obviously, they just dot bits and pieces all over the place. You can see they've got the Joker's low-rise, so at some point they must have had a Batman special, and they would have had an oversized thing. And you can see you've got the big shop in the background behind these figures, which is an interesting thing, because I wonder what they're going to be doing with that, because all of these things obviously are new, they're designing bits and pieces. It's interesting, and you can build your own Minilander. So pause this if you want to make your oversized Minilander. So it's obviously there is the scale that they use instead of minifigures, so you can see them. That is all the pieces and elements that you need, and they must have done something for Tokyo in 2020. These guys and girls here really do go to town. I do believe this is the kind of Minilander that you could walk around every single year, or the park every single year, and there's always going to be something different, which is very, very interesting to see. So again, I'm going to be comparing this soon to some of the other parks around the world, and I will be going back to my local one at Windsor as well, and then we will hopefully see the difference between the two and see how much Windsor's improved. And then you've got the big dinosaurs, and again you've got the flames and the castle at the back. So I just wonder if they're going to go to more of a mythical section at the back end, or they're just going to leave it be where they've just got the water and they've just put something there because it did look effective. But if you can visualize what that water would have been used for relating to Star Wars, then please do let me know, because I am struggling to think what that section would be, and I'm sure some of you would be screaming in the background. But you've got how the developers and designers get their bits and pieces approved, and just how much of function they have to put in. As you can see, they've got massive steel structures on the inside of them, and then obviously it's all built with Lego bricks, and they do have to get glued together so they don't get damaged too badly, because obviously people will climb on them. And then you got this cool penguin with this high-vis jacket on. That blue is very, very vibrant. Now again, don't forget, a lot of these models are outside in the sun, and they all look in fantastic shape and nick. So they must be swapped over a lot, or they just don't weather. I'm not too sure the reason why, because obviously you can see on the roofs of some of the other Miniland parks, or for even this for example, where it does look a little bit weathered just with how lighter grey it all is, and how the red is faded, because obviously this would have been in at least 10 years or more. It's just amazing to see how much they stay on top of everything. There's another Santa, there's the Christmas tree, so you can see that in the background on this one. And then again, you've got the holly wreath dotted on the back, and then you've got an open top bus. Lots of water. You can see the drainage system that they've got actually in that as well, so that's a clever thing. And you can see the filtration system working nicely. Then you've got the memorial, which is I think a little bit just in the little background just there. And then that is a better understanding of just how big this Miniland is. Now I do believe what we're going to do is in a second we're going to cut and walk back to the opposite side of all the different bits and pieces we've missed. But some of these, like this statue and this memorial for example, looked beautiful. And then you can see the sort of cutouts on the road. That is where the animatronics for the bus we'll be driving around, and that will just keep doing massive loops all the way around. But that is the building. You can see how close they are to the Miniland section, which I think makes perfect sense. And this Miniland really is in the heart of the park, because you can just ping off to maybe 3 other different sections from here. This park is so easy to navigate. It's fantastic. Now, just skipped a little bit further down, so you can see, because I had to move past the little ones. That's only the second time we've had to do that. You can see in the far right hand corner there's a eatery up there, so you can see it carries on going. I think, unless I'm lying to you, that is the new Ninjago play area. So there used to be something else there, which I can't remember what used to be there, but that is now the Ninjago, because a lot of it has changed. They've been taking out a lot of the original bits and pieces, and they've been adding in lots and lots of new stuff over the last couple of years. And the last thing to go is the Fairy Tale Brook. So as that is right now, when I was there, that was in the process of getting demolished and altered, just like the safari ride as well. So I have a very good excuse to go back in 2024 if I want to, or I might wait for a year or two and then just see how much else has changed. But it was a beautiful trip. Now, I caught this at the right time, because obviously you can tell what that is supposed to be, and then you've got the nice parade going around there. The motorcade did look very cool indeed, because you've got 2 bikes sort of pinned to the car as it shoots around, and after that just keep going around as the big loop. Then you've got all the, again, going into the much larger buildings. We come into the next section of Miniland USA. So you can tell why it's called Miniland USA, because obviously everything is related to America. Like I said, I've already read out all the different bits and pieces. Now, just like Windsor, they do have a sound stage with benches and almost like a little picnic area. If you want to, you can sit down, but they will obviously put live performances on there throughout the day. And it's just a clever way of doing it, because it's right in the heart of the park, and then from there people can have a look at the Miniland section, and they can just carry on and go to the rides. And they do have the exact same setup at Legoland Windsor. They do have something very similar to Legoland Billund, but it's just on the outskirts of the Miniland, not right in the middle. So Windsor and California are like for like on this one, and Dubai does not have that, because Dubai is all inside. But they do have entertainment, but just not right there. It's in a slightly different area, I think. Now you've got the parade that's going on there, marching up and down, which does look, again, very effective. And can you see the oversized Santa and the big Christmas tree in the back left? And again, you've got all the wreaths and everything up at the top. Very effective decorative pieces on this one, so I think they have done a fantastic job, as you probably can make out. I was very impressed. I'm enjoying watching this back. But that is the capital, and it has 540 rooms. I think that says 648 windows, as a fun fact for you. Then you've got the horse and cart going around the front. Now, this is the only bit I recognise, because this is what they have at Legoland Windsor. So our version of Miniland USA has a bit of everything, and they have quite a lot of this. So we have some from Las Vegas, and then they have 1 or 2 of the bigger buildings as well. And then we do have Washington DC, and we've got the Capitol State Building, little bits and pieces like that, I think. Whereas this is just obviously the area that it is. It's everything. So we don't have 3/4 of this at Legoland Windsor, but we do have 1 or 2 of the key buildings. So if you are intrigued to see what Legoland Windsor has, head over to the Miniland mini playlist, because I have created a Miniland playlist of all of the different Miniland parks around the world over the different years. Some of the videos are very long, because that is the short, sorry, that is me zooming in and out. And then you've got the shorter videos of just a walkthrough like this one, and you've got all of the sort of animatronics and sound effects, because normally they don't have the music playing in the background. But again, you've got all these big buses, you've got all these tour buses. Now with this, you have to walk all the way down to then walk all the way back up again to walk all the way around. It is a split path down the middle. But if you carry on walking and just to the left hand side, that is then the next area and section of the theme park, and that is where the boat tour ride is, which I will be adding in sooner rather than, like I said, more than likely that will be the next upload that follows this one, because it just makes sense having both of the Lego models videos back to back. So at least that way, if you want to, you can then see the other models from the other side of it, especially the larger bits and pieces in the middle, because it was very impressive to see. I won't be saying much in that video, but the amount of time that the word Legos got used rather than bricks, I did bite my tongue, but you can see why, I guess. So it is what it is, but I say it every single time. Lego is the company, the bricks is what they produce. They are not called Legos, because it just isn't. But what I do like is you've got this massive treasure island with a big skull, if you notice that one, and These look quite new as well. So they've got all the different races and boat rides. So this was a cool little thing. It's just little building areas. So you can just build the bits and pieces. First ever place I saw that was actually at the Dubai water park. And now obviously Billund have started to create a few of them. Now they've got some more boat bits and pieces in some of the other parks as well, which is really, really nice to see. And obviously now they're opening up all the Ferrari World sections where they have all of the car racing versions of that on the inside, which is basically exactly the same as what Legoland Billund, also the Billund House, let me rephrase that, the Lego house in Billund has, there we go, third time lucky, where you can just build your cars, you hit a timer, and then you can race each other. But at the Legoland parks, they're on a much, much larger scale. Right, we've got just under 2 minutes left. So if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Hopefully you've enjoyed this journey through Miniland USA. If you've been to this park before, please let me know what year you went and how much this area has changed. And like I said earlier on in the video, if you go to your local Legoland, what is the newest building that you can think of that they've added in? We covered the one over in Billund already this year, and last year it was in Legoland Windsor. It was all to do with Santa Pod. That whole area had been refurbished, and that did look very, very good because that did look very weathered and battered. So let us know if all the upgrades and all the updates to everything are to your taste and they've improved, or do you miss having some of the original bits and pieces? Obviously with the rides, they've got to pull them out because at certain points the maintenance costs of those things, it just becomes worthwhile just putting a new ride in. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, would you like something, say for example, somewhere brand new in this area, or when this finally gets weathered and it's time for a change, would you just like a like for like replacement, so they just rebuild the same things again because you have an attachment to that area? But as a guest, it's always nice to come in and see different things. But as a local, I know some people grew up with these bits and pieces, but this park now is about to hit 25 years and there's not much left from the original year that it opened. So obviously times change, but it is really, really nice to see everything, and I'm massively impressed. And again, every single park has a variation of an Eiffel Tower. Obviously this is the one in Las Vegas, but the huge Eiffel Tower that is on display and all of the other larger bits and pieces from Dubai are all in the boat ride, because that is the massive artifacts and buildings like the London Eye from around the world. So they will be the bits and pieces that will be in the boat video. So you've got all of that to come, and we're about to, I think, walk down the very, very last segment. Like I said, you've got to walk all the way up, to walk all the way back down, to walk all the way back up again, and you can see just where that bridge is. That's where we first came in, and you had the Miniland sign. You've got the power tower, which was working, so you pushed the button and it was doing some other little bits and pieces, and it was making some flashing bits at the top. That was very impressive to see just as it started to get darker. And then we're about to have a look at these things, because this is the bridge that you go underneath on the actual boat ride itself, and they did look super, super impressive. You can just see the scale of how big that ride is, and like I said, that is going to be the next video to come. But guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da. I'm not saying I forgot about the dinosaurs, but I have just remembered to add them in. So I'm now going to carry on with the voiceover, because I wasn't just going to do it completely silent for you guys and girls to listen to. And then within the first minute, I think the Beach Boys start playing, because you go around like a park, a beachy area. And then there's a little Christmas music as well, which is a real shame, because there's a huge amount of sound effects and animatronics that do sound fantastic, especially with the conductor saying about when the train's coming in and leaving. But at least now we get to see a much better detailed view of all of these dinosaurs, and what I mean by how far away that water is, and all the detail at the very, very back. So I'm not 100% sure what this is to do with. Obviously this is a special edition display, so it'll be very interesting to see what this looks like in 2024. You can see you've got all the police officers, loads of people running around. You've got everything sort of that looks like it's escaped. You've got something that's getting chomped and eaten on that one as well. There's lots and lots to soak in and take a look at, and there is literally stuff absolutely everywhere. And at the same time, because this camera has quite a half decent zoom on, when we get to the top of the buildings, you'll be able to see all the other little bits and pieces. But you can see all the water in the background and just how detailed this area is. And you can see that one's having a nice drink. So that's a nice looking thing. And then you've got all the flags on the front of that building. And you've got another copper that looks like he's getting eyeballed, and he looks like he's about to get demolished and devoured in that one. So it's almost like a dinosaur parade that looks like it might have gone wrong. So I don't know what this is to do with. If you do know the reasons and the ins and outs of this, please, please, please let me know, because it does look absolutely fantastic. But I did remember seeing it, like I said earlier on in the video, of them uploading some pictures of this on their Instagram page months and months and months ago, and I thought it was out of season for me to actually come and see it, but it looks like they must have extended it, which is nice. So you can see you've got the toy shop in the far distance, like we are going through New York, and it did look very, very good. And again, you get to almost see the bit more detail in this camera as it picks up the detail a little bit more. So you can see you've got all the little brick bits at the end of everything. So you can see you've obviously got all the construction workers and everything going on that. And you've got the one taking a nap, one sat on the scaffolding. I think one's taking a photo of some bits and pieces going on. But as we start to pan up, you get a good understanding of just how large a scale these models are. And obviously you can see some different bits and pieces within the windows and just what the texture's like on the crane. It is a really, really impressive area, especially as we come around to here. So you can obviously see this was the first Santa that we saw. That looks incredible. That's a beautiful photo opportunity on that one. So if you had like a professional camera, you could get some really, really nice photos, I think, from that as well. And the other side of that is what you'll be having a look at later on with the boat ride as well, which obviously is always something nice to look forward to. And I will do my very, very best if I can to link that to this video, but if not, it will be in the Miniland playlist just like this one, as well as the Legoland California. But you can see you've got the different details of the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building. It took approximately 410 days to build. So huge amount of effort. You just think how far in advance they've got a plan for this. So it took well over a year just to build one of the buildings. So it's an easily 2-year project, if not longer, if you think if they have to have a huge army of people just to build one zone. So when we were walking around before and they added in the new area, I wonder how long that was in the pipeline for to get everything done. And obviously, where do they store all the bits and pieces in the warehouse before they come into it on that bit? So we basically start this display in the middle, which was stupid, instead of starting at the far left. So we've started in the middle, walked all the way to the left, come back into the middle, and now we're going to carry on walking around to the right hand side and just spot some other little bits and pieces that we hadn't seen. So we've got the big T-Rex, and then underneath that you can see you've got the big sail, you've got the person in the stripy jumper. That is your toilet paper with the car that has been launched over that toilet paper lorry. And then you've got the nice rainbow, and then it does look like you've got some smaller dinosaurs there chasing some of the characters. And then obviously you've got the train working. So up at the top, you've got all the people on the scaffold. You've got Santa look like he's running and pegging it away. And then you've got the flag. And then again, with this camera, you can see all the detail between the buildings. There's lots and lots of different bits and pieces going on. There's more dinosaurs in between the buildings and behind. And you can see how this tail is wrapping around the Times Square 2024. And you can see this one with the long neck looking at the other dinosaur. And there's just lots of other detail around it. So there's lots to soak in and lots to take in. And again, just looking at all of the texture and the detail on the buildings and just the color of these dinosaurs as well. They do look very, very nice. So hopefully one day I'll go back and I will try and get a much more better look at this. But if you can see, that does say the Lego Movie 4D cinema, and you've got Emmett in 3D and the rest of the crew on the left hand side just behind the dinosaur. Then you've got the car. It looks like you've got a wedding that's going on, and yes, that is another dinosaur looking like it's with the hat on, so it's obviously part of the group on that one. And then you've got the other dinosaur to the right hand side, so it looks like they've just replaced figures with these big dinos. Those two look like they're having a either argument or debate, one or the other. And then you can see that you are here in the world map right beside the hotel. You've got another fire truck that had stopped. The animatronics aren't working on this, only obviously because all the dinosaurs are in the way, so it can't get itself round. And then you've got these buildings again. They don't look weathered whatsoever. They do look very, very bright and vibrant. It says smile away. And then you've got forever. You've got sunglasses. You've got some more of the smaller dinos on the floor, up on the ceiling and on the roof. And they're all over the place. You've got them up at the top. You really do need to stop, look, and listen and just see what everything is. And on this building had all the white bits and pieces on the sides. I'm not 100% sure what that was to do with. I don't know if there was something stuck on there and it's just recently fallen off. But with that being said, everything looked absolutely spectacular. So for the second time, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Comments below if you've been here, and if you are coming, or if you went over the Christmas season, what did it look like lit? But guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da.